Go Big Win! Go Big Win! Go Big Win! I'd like to introduce you all to your new student enrollment orientation leaders. This is Tommy. Everyone say, what's up, Tommy? He's gonna be taking it over. Tommy.
All right, everybody. So, we have a few chants that we want you to all know when you go to every single sports athletic game. The first is Go Big Red, which you guys just did excellently. The second is the Husker Power Chant. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna divide the room right here. All of you guys are gonna be yelling Husker. All of you guys are gonna be yelling Power. Now, Vice Chancellor Franco and Kustelnik. Okay. All right. So everybody, Husker, Power. We're going to start it. 3, 2, 1. Husker! Great. That was awesome. So just picture that with about 90,000 people in a stadium, and it's way better. So the last thing that we're going to also teach you is the song Dear Old Nebraska. Now this song is something that you should know and you will know, and we'll have the words up on the screen here so you guys can sing along. But we're going to do it twice. This first time, I'm going to run you through it just so we can learn it, and then the second time, we're going to get Chancellor Dr. Ronnie Green to come and lead it. So, that's what's going on. Can we get it on the screen here? All right, say it with me. There is no place like dear old Nebraska, where the girls are the fairest, the boys are the squarest, any old school that I knew. Now, a part of this song, which is right after it, which we weren't able to just do right there, there are claps. Now, this will get very complicated.
Now that Tommy's given us a great introduction, we're just gonna want to introduce ourselves. My name's Elena Stokes. I'm a senior majoring in speech language pathology.
Hey guys, my name is Stephen Ma. I'm a junior broadcasting and journalism major from Omaha.
Nice. All right, so before we really get started here, we just wanted to provide a few pointers on Husker spirit. So we hope you are as excited as we are about attending the sporting events and cheering on the Huskers, right?
There are certain rules for the Red, and we live by, and we want to review them with you now. What does it mean to be the best fans in the country? Well, some would say understanding the game, but it is more than that. What are the rules of the Red? Number 1, come early.
Wear red.
Withstand the elements.
Stay until the final whistle.
Respect the opponent.
Most importantly, be loud.
Friends, it is my pleasure to introduce the Master of Ceremonies for the New Student Convocation. Lindsay Armstrong is a senior from Scribner, Nebraska, who's majoring in advertising and public relations in the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. In her Nebraska career, Lindsay has been named a two-time Big Ten Conference Challenge champion in speech and debate, a TEDx Lincoln speaker, a finalist for the Outstanding Student Leadership Award and the Shane Osborne Leadership Award. Please help me welcome Lindsay Armstrong.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. This is the Bob Devaney Sports Center, home to our national championship volleyball team. We are so glad you are here. I'm Lindsay Armstrong. During my UNL career, I've had the opportunity to serve as a new student enrollment orientation leader. I've studied abroad in Cuba and participated in the Global Leadership Retreat, and was selected to be a member of Mortarboard Honorary Society. I was asked in my preparation to be an orientation leader what surprised me the most about Nebraska, and how that information could be related to new students as they begin to develop ideas about service and opportunities they would like to pursue here at UNL. I responded with this thought: you can truly have a blank slate when it comes to college and can begin creating the person you want to be. No one cares if your clothes don't match, if you were a leader in high school, or if you have a significant other. College is a lot less petty than my high school experience, and for that, I am grateful. I learned I can be who I want to be and not feel as if I have to adhere to certain standards. Take hold of this thought as you begin to make a plan on what you want to accomplish during your 4 years at Nebraska, and make plans to achieve your goals. The New Student Convocation ceremony marks the beginning of your academic career. You follow in the footsteps of great alumni who have gone on to change the world. Now, it is your turn, and we look forward to seeing how your achievements will shape the future. It is now my pleasure to announce our university leaders. Each person being introduced should stand and remain standing until the introductions are complete. We will then applaud them as a group. Chancellor Ronnie Green. A chancellor is like a CEO or president of a company, and Chancellor Green is our leader at Nebraska. And today, he is accompanied by his wife, Jane Green, also known as Husker Jane. Spencer Hartman, President, Association of Students for the University of Nebraska, and he represents you as your student regent. Omade Zabi, our keynote speaker. Dr. Juan Franco, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Chris Jackson, Vice Chancellor for Business Affairs. Dr. Bill Nunez, Associate to the Chancellor. Sean Eichhorst, Director of Athletics. Teresa Paulson, Chief Communication and Marketing Officer. Shelly Zaborowski, Executive Director of the Nebraska Alumni Association. Michelle Waite, Assistant to the Chancellor for Community Relations. Susan Foster, Assistant to the Chancellor in the Office of Institutional Equity and Compliance, and Title IX Coordinator. On this side of me are our deans. Our university is comprised of individual colleges, focusing on specific areas of study. Depending on which college you decided to be in, you will get to know your dean. They are the heads of the college and report to Chancellor Green. Dr. Marjorie Kostelnik, Interim Senior Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Dr. Stephen Waller, Dean of the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. Catherine Ankerson, Dean of the College of Architecture. Dr. June Griffin, Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Dondi Plowman, Dean of the College of Business Administration. Dr. Beth Dahl, Acting Dean of the College of Education and Human Sciences. Charles O'Connor, Dean of the Hickson Lead College of Fine and Performing Arts. Dr. Lori Bellows, Acting Dean of the Graduate College. Dr. Maria Marin, Dean of the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. Dr. Amy Goodborn, Interim Dean of Enrollment Management. Please join me in welcoming these university leaders. When you entered convocation, you were given a card to fill out, asking you to identify one teacher in high school who impacted your life in a positive way. We would like to recognize the teacher and thank him or her for assisting you in your academic achievement, which allowed you to enter this institution. Please pass your completed cards and pencils to the right, where they will be collected. During your UNL career, there will be many important people who will play an important role in your growth and development. One of the groups is the upper class leaders charged to guide through this year of transition. I would ask the resident assistants and new member educators to stand to be recognized for the important work they will be doing. Someone who you will be getting to know over the next few years is our Chancellor, Ronnie Green. Chancellor Green was raised on a beef, dairy, and cropping farm in Southwest Virginia. He received his bachelor and master's degrees in animal science from Virginia Tech and Colorado State University. His doctorate degree is from the University of Nebraska. Chancellor Green and his wife Jane are the proud parents of 4 children: Justin, Nate, Kelly, and Reagan. All 4 have received a degree from Nebraska or are in the process of receiving a degree. Please welcome Chancellor Green.
Well, welcome, class of 2020. I cannot tell you how excited that we are that you're finally here. And we are tremendously excited. I'm a first-time chancellor. You're a first-time student. You happen to be in what we believe will become our largest freshman class in the history of the University of Nebraska, in our 147-year history. So I can relate to you a little bit, because being a first-time chancellor, there's a lot of things that I have yet to learn, and that I'll learn with you along the way as you're here. I hope for around 4 years, or as close to it as you can get. You hear that? In that 4-year period that you'll have here at Nebraska. And we're again just so excited that you're joining us. So you're our most diverse class. You're our most capable class. We continue to grow in our student body here, so welcome to Nebraska. Now, there are 3 things I want to impart to you today, and I want you to think about as you go off on your career. For some of you who are sitting here in the Devaney Center, this is a big group for you. Some of you come from places where your town is not this big. Some of you think this is a big place, right? Hands, or a few of you out there that feel that way, right? So even though the University of Nebraska is a community of 25,000 students, over that number now, and about 8,000 faculty and staff who make up our community here, we're a caring place here. We care very deeply about you. We care very deeply about your success. We want you to be successful here. So I want you to know that first and foremost, that you have come to a welcoming, caring, kind place here at the University of Nebraska. Secondly, I want you to know that this is a place that's on the move. You've come to a place that's growing, where there is momentum here like we've never experienced in our history before. Momentum in the programs you're going to be part of as undergraduate students here the next several years. Momentum in becoming an ever-increasing important research university that's known around the world for many of these areas that you see the academic leaders in front of you for today. This is a place that's on the move, and we're very proud of that here at Nebraska. And then the third thing that I want you to know, and it ties to that first thing that I mentioned a moment ago, is that we're a place that values dignity and respect, a place that values acceptance, a place that expects and has high expectations for what dignity and respect and acceptance means. You got a bracelet, I know, when you came in today. I see many of you are already wearing it. I hope you will continue to wear it, that says the Nebraska Way on it. Now, I'm going to tell you, honestly, we stole that from our athletic department, Sean, who has been using that for several years, and it has underneath it the words dignity, respect, and acceptance. A belief, a core belief in diversity and inclusion. And we expect that we're a place where we ask that all members of our university community be especially mindful of our responsibility to create an environment that is welcoming to all, where each person here feels accepted, valued, and safe. And I want to read to you what that means. You're going to hear us talk about this. You're going to see it throughout your first semester here on our campus. Our core beliefs that our faculty and our staff and our community believe in relation to these, the inclusiveness and the diversity of our campus. We value equity, inclusion, and dignity for all. We strive for excellence and recognize that our differences, in fact, make us stronger. We respect and seek out inclusion of our differences, realizing that we learn from each other. I would wager to you that you're going to learn as much or more at this university from the people who are seated around you as you are from us, from the faculty and staff here at the university. We insist on a culture of respect, and we recognize that words and actions really matter. The absence of words and actions also matter. We believe in freedom of speech and encourage the expression of ideas and opinions. That's part of the reason you're here at the university, is to learn and to be free in your expression. And we do not tolerate words of action or actions of hate and disrespect. We know how to share criticism of ideas with respect. We know how to have honest and good debate and dialogue. We all share in the responsibility to create a positive culture here and to safeguard equity, inclusion, dignity, and respect for all. Each member of the university community, whether that's faculty, whether it's staff, whether it's you as students, whether it's your colleagues as graduate students here on our campus, should be a role model for others. And lastly, we take action when we observe someone or something being treated unfairly or in a demeaning manner. I know all of that sounds like common sense, right? You've been raised to believe those things, and it's common sense. We want you to embrace that here. It's our core belief as a university here at the University of Nebraska. It's non-negotiable. That's who we are here at the university. And there are things that we hope we will be able to count on you as we're counting on each other. I'm really excited that you're going to hear in a few minutes from our keynote speaker, Omade Zabi. And I'm especially excited about the message he's going to be bringing to you as a former student here at our university and a former student leader here on our campus who is now back in Nebraska. So we wish you the very best of luck. We want you to go get them. We want you to do great things here. We want you to be successful. We want you to learn. We want you to bleed red, and we want you to cheer, Go Big Red.
Our guest speaker today is a distinguished alumni of the University of Nebraska, Omade Zabi. Omade is from Brandon, South Dakota. He was elected the student body president for 2005 and 2006. As a president of ASUN, Omade began an effort to unify the student body behind the need for a new culture center, which resulted in the Jackie Gahn Multicultural Center. After graduation, Omade worked for Senator Ben Nelson in Washington, D.C. for 2 years before studying law at Nebraska. He is presently a staff attorney at Nebraska Appleseed. His wife, Jill, is also a graduate of UNL and the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Omade, Jill, and their daughter live in Omaha, where Jill is a physician with Nebraska Medicine. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Omade Zabi.
Hello, class of 2020. Sorry, I didn't get the memo on the red polo and khakis. I forgot my red tie, sorry about that. But like was said earlier, I'm here to tell a story about a student-driven effort that I was a part of that led to the country's largest campus multicultural center, which has served as a model for other universities and colleges. I'm going to go a little bit off script here, and I don't want to keep you all too long since I bet you're all just itching to go back to your rooms to study and play board games, because that's what you do your first weekend of college, right? Yeah. A lot of chutes and ladders, that's going to happen, you can just tell. Now, you've probably heard a lot of cliches about the journey you're about to embark on in college and how you'll grow personally, emotionally, and intellectually, and about the friendships you'll make. This is all actually true, particularly the friends part. I wanted to give you an example of the type of friends that you'll make. Despite my best efforts, my friends, many of whom I met at UNL, found out I was speaking today, but they offered me some really nice words of encouragement. So I don't want to be too corny, but these are really touching words from my friends who I've known for over 10 years. So just an example of some of the texts I received. Omade, you're so old, there's approximately 0% chance you can relate to these freshmen. Really, they invited you to talk. They couldn't get anyone better? Dude, you're so old, are you going to tell them stories about pranking other dorm rooms using the landline? So, yeah. I felt pretty alone last night. But getting back to where I was, I really do empathize with all of you, because college will present you with some exciting things, but also some challenges. You'll be expected to strive for high achievements in the classroom, pursue competitive internships and jobs, and secure employment in a fierce, increasingly global market. And you'll probably come across old people who believe you'll be the downfall of the country. But don't worry about it. It's just really a rite of passage to endure when you're this young. So ignore the finger pointing and the get off my lawns. Don't get off their lawn, just stay a while, all right? Remember, the conventional wisdom thought that Generation X was disaffected and aimless, and that generation invented Amazon, Google, and your high school study partner, Wikipedia. It's true, come on, let's be real here. But some challenges will also arise from the issues of the day. Now, at times in the past few years, it feels like America has been convulsing in its attempt to grapple with issues of race, ethnicity, inequality, and the criminal justice system. There's also an increasing level of cynicism towards our economic and political system. And despite the demands of your classes and your social and campus life, the whirlwind of rhetoric and passion that accompany these issues does not politely stop on the borders of campus. Campus isn't immune to this, nor should it be. And you've probably seen this by some student protests that have happened across the country. In addition to all that, you'll also be meeting a diverse array of students at UNL, people of different races, creeds, cultures, backgrounds, sexual orientation, gender identity, and political beliefs, all of whom will have different views and an outlook on life than you. Now, under these circumstances, you must be wondering if it's even possible, or if you have the power to create a campus culture that's able to address these issues in a way that's productive and inclusive. This can seem daunting to you, and you may be tempted to just shut down from campus or getting involved. And I sort of get that impulse, because I was raised in a small town in South Dakota, just barely larger than this room. And coming to UNL seemed like a whole nother world to me. But you should ignore that impulse, and hopefully this story will help you do that, as it illustrates how students are able to take initiative and engage positively with each other on campus as we try to gain support for a new multicultural center. Now, the old Culture Center on campus was a 2- or 3-story structure that had all the trappings of a crumbling, neglected building. The heating and cooling system worked intermittently, space was cramped, the building was largely inaccessible to students with disabilities, and it was tucked away on the edge of campus, which is an unfortunate symbol of how students thought UNL prioritized diversity. And to be frank, many people believed it was only a place for students of color. And so while it was a treasured home away from home for some, there was an urgent need for an upgrade. So these are the demoralizing conditions when I began my term as student body president in 2005. I was familiar with this history of the Culture Center and the failed efforts to build a new one, but I thought it would be worth trying, really trying, to see if we could gain approval for a new Culture Center. One that would not only be a space for people of color and other underrepresented students, but a place where all students could congregate. One that would occupy a central, visible part of campus and welcome all students as a symbol of UNL's commitment to inclusivity. And so I, along with the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, helped recruit a diverse group of students who would plan and carry out a campaign to try and unify campus around the idea to build a new multicultural center that would serve as a critical hub of student activity and cultural understanding. Now keep in mind, we were going to ask the students for over $4.5 million of student fees in order to build one. So this was going to be a pretty tall ask. The most enjoyable part of the campaign was our outreach efforts to students and student organizations. That's not to say it wasn't difficult. Initially, the skepticism from some students and student groups was strong and a bit jarring. I distinctly remember going to an organization that had a bunch of, that was centered around underrepresented students to pitch the idea and obtain their support for the campaign. And they're a really important organization, so I wanted to really gain their support. After I summarized my initial thoughts about the campaign and how we would ask students to pay for the Multicultural Center, there were crickets, followed by some direct and tough questions. But it was entirely understandable. They had probably heard the song and dance before with no tangible results. But in the end, they offered their support. And so did nearly every student organization that we approached. We reached out to many students and as many organizations as we could. Now, why did we do that? Because we felt we had an obligation to go to all corners of the university. This was something that would affect every student, and there was a recognition that this was our community, and a new multicultural center would be one way to improve it for ourselves and for future students like yourselves. Now, during our campaign, there was a vibrant debate over whether students should approve it. Some of the dissent raised practical concerns about the cost of the center, and some, to be honest, came from a place that could be construed as being tinged with some insensitivity, and claimed that a new student was something just for those students. Now, in response, we could have dug in our heels and responded in a way that was confrontational. We could have called these students at best inconsiderate and at worst racially and culturally insensitive. But we had to remember two things. First is that people change. I mean, when I was little, I wanted to be a Ghostbuster, and that's totally changed now. That was only like a 10% chance that'll happen. But seriously, sometimes with the right approach or situation, everybody has the capacity to change. And second, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to interact with people with whom you disagree with on a daily basis. You can't wish away the people that you disagree with. In fact, some of them will be your friends. You have to find a productive way to engage with your fellow students. And so we listened, we put ourselves in their shoes to understand their concerns, and addressed them the best way we could. This doesn't mean that we didn't challenge them, compromise our core values, and undermine our responsibility to work towards an inclusive campus. But we listened and constructively engaged with our fellow students. And so after a long campaign, the ballot measure to ask students to pay for the Multicultural Center passed with resounding approval, with over 75% agreeing to raise student fees to build one. But while I'm immensely proud of the work that we did, there's only so much a building can do to foster a sense of community on campus. I hope the one takeaway from the story is that it demonstrated the power of students to come together in pursuit of a common goal. But these opportunities are only possible if you want to take advantage of them. UNL is committed to an inclusive campus built on respect, one that tries to cultivate an atmosphere for conversation, reflection, and mutual understanding. It's up to you, however, to honor and build on this commitment. You alone have the power to mold your campus community into something more expansive, more accepting, more diverse, and more worldly. You won't be able to do this, however, unless you're willing to put forth the effort to learn about and gain perspective from your fellow students. That's why I'd strongly encourage you to attend Husker Dialogues, the beginning of many sessions designed to start conversations among students here on campus, with the hope that you'll be a vital factor towards making it a more inclusive place. The first of these will be held on September 13th. But your efforts shouldn't stop there. Don't be isolated and cut off from campus. Continue to take advantage of what UNL offers. Be a zealous steward of this community. Get involved. Join a student organization. Attend events outside your comfort zone. Talk to people who have different backgrounds than you. Understand who they are and where they come from. If you do that, I bet you'll find your time here at UNL more rewarding and more valuable. Thanks, and good luck.
Thank you, Omade. I now ask that everyone review the words on the screen describing the Nebraska way to follow up on Dr. Green's remarks with a commitment to those principles. Each of you have received a bracelet to wear with the words, respect, dignity, acceptance, the Nebraska way, to remind you of Nebraska's commitment to these values. Please stand if you are able And feel free to join me in committing to the Nebraska way by saying with me, I will engage, interact, and treat other people with dignity who come from different backgrounds, cultures, and perspectives. I will respect others in the spirit of acceptance by valuing and understanding each person's special qualities and perspectives. You may be seated. Next, I am honored to introduce Spencer Hartman, President of the Association of Students for the University of Nebraska. Spencer is also our UNL Student Regent. He is a senior majoring in agricultural economics from Imperial, Nebraska. Please welcome Spencer Hartman.
Good afternoon, and welcome home. My friends, much like Omade's, advised me to keep it short, and so in the spirit of that, I could just say ditto to his speech. But I do have a few thoughts to offer you this afternoon. Welcome to this community, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Maybe some of you are like me and have known since the 6th grade that you wanted to attend this great institution. Maybe others of you decided at some point during high school. Others of you within the last few weeks, and maybe yet some of you still aren't sure that this is where you belong. Be assured, you will find your place here in this welcoming community. To steal an adapted line from President Kennedy, I encourage you all, at the onset of your time here, to ask not what this community can do for you, but what you will contribute to this community. Each of you will find your passion, your niche, and you will all belong to various sub-communities. The intramural team you will join, your Greek chapter community, your residence hall floor community, and your classroom community. I'd like to reflect for a moment on a quote from a Lincoln community member. His name is Bishop James Conley, in which he said, "Today, education has become preparation for earning, but not for living. We're taught as consumers and producers, but not as creators and cultivators. We're trained as taxpayers, but not as citizens. Our culture has lost the sense that education should form men and women who know what goodness is and who will choose it. Upon graduation, each of you will receive a coveted degree from this Big Ten institution that has prepared you for earning, but the preparation for living will be largely up to you. The classes you will take will help you develop the skills to earn an honest wage and to provide for yourself and your families. But what about the skills to be good mothers, fathers, husbands and wives, citizens? Your training will equip you to be doctors, lawyers, and teachers. But what about being doctors who serve the poorest among us, lawyers who fight for just causes to level the playing field of society, and teachers who invest in students in and outside of the classroom? That decision to choose goodness is up to you. The education you receive here at UNL will prepare you to be a consumer and producer. But what about being challenged to be a creator and cultivator? You are a member of America's greatest generation. The last generation to earn that title achieved some pretty great accomplishments, even out of this world, by landing a man on the moon. But we will do more. As creators and cultivators, a team of you in this room will cure cancer. Others of you will lead the way to feeding a world population of 9 billion people with less land and less resources than we enjoy today. You will be the boots on the ground to stop binge drinking, eradicate racism and stereotypes, and to put an end to sexual assault on this campus and every campus across the country. Your teachers, professors, and academic mentors will aid you with skills to accomplish all of that. But the dreaming, the cultivating, the creating, that will be up to you. Lastly, each of you in this room is in effect a taxpayer, or you will be very soon when you get your tuition bill. You pay tuition and student fees, but what will you do to move beyond merely being a taxpayer to becoming a citizen of this campus community? The opportunities to engage in this campus are limitless. With over 500 registered student organizations, nearly 40 Greek chapters, countless intramural sports, and a number of faith-based communities. I urge you, get involved, be visionary, make the impossible possible, and don't forget to have fun along the way. In summary, I'll repeat the quote for your reflection. Today, education has often become preparation for earning, but not for living. We're taught as consumers and producers, but not as creators and cultivators. We're trained as taxpayers, but not as citizens. This is the University of Nebraska. This is your home. This is your community. How will you shape it? Go Big Red.
We hope those of you with smartphones took the opportunity to download the Big Red Welcome Guide and the UNL Campus Guides app you used at new student enrollment. The schedule of activities for new students during the first 6 weeks is available on the app. Tonight, the tunnel walk at Memorial Stadium will begin at 8:30. Lining up outside of Gate 15 will begin at 8:15. On the field, we will line up in an N for the claim. Just kidding. Just hold 1 second. It's canceled. I know. Due to the weather, the tunnel walk at Memorial Stadium is canceled. Husker Mania in campus recreation will begin at 9 o'clock as planned. There are many more activities on Saturday and Sunday in addition to the events tonight. Make sure you check out the app or posters on your floor or in your chapter house. After the convocation, many of you will be returning to your residence hall or Greek house, where you will eat as a group and then attend your first community meeting. Please check with your resident assistant or new member educator about details. There will be a meeting for commuter students in the Union Auditorium, and dinner will be provided. And for some exciting news, the winners of our Twitter contest and this floor will get, no, they would have gotten to lead the tunnel walk tonight. Let's give a big round of applause to Riley Kalb and Sandoz 3. You now have a great opportunity to be one of the first groups to preview our national Nebraska spot that will be used on television during Husker games. Please turn your attention to the screen.
All right, so everyone watch your vice chancellors. They will start the chant.
Alrighty. Now we will have Dr. Steve Waller, Dr. Dondi Plowman, and Dr. June Griffin to lead the Go Big Red cheer. You guys ready?
And now Chancellor Green will lead us through There Is No Place Like Nebraska.
Before we do that, I know that the tunnel walk is a big expectation and dream that a lot of you have. We will do it, and we will do it as a freshman class. Okay, you ready? There is no place like Nebraska, dear old Nebraska, where the girls are the fairest, the boys are the squarest of any old school that I knew. There is no place like Nebraska, where they're all true blue. We'll all stick together in all kinds of weather at dear old Nebraska, Go Big Red!